Guys, we finally did it. Bitcoin confirmed the breakout with a close above 117,000. Honestly, when the weekly candle closes, assuming it's above 117, like we can rest easy. You know what I mean? Like I will be able to sleep easy at night because that was one of the last things. Honestly, the last thing on my checklist is MSTR, new all-time highs. That's it. I think the breakout is basically confirmed. We're seeing breakouts too, and a lot of the Bitcoin adjacent trades, the miners were looking really strong. We had the MSTR breakout before we had the Bitcoin breakout. It's just been, guys, it's been absolutely incredible. I've been studying this trade specifically for the last 5 years, basically for the amount of time we spent on this level on the Bitcoin chart. Speaking of this chart and Bitcoin levels, I think this is the single most misunderstood chart in all of like Bitcoin influencer, crypto influencer, the space. And I'm very plugged in. Like I like to watch, there's a lot of good content out there, as I'm sure you guys know. I bet you I'm not the only person you follow, but I don't see anybody else talking about this chart. And I think this chart tells the full story. I think this chart tells us what comes next. And I just think it's misunderstood. So we're going to circle back to this chart. First, I want to talk about MicroStrategy. Let's do an update. So it's a big week. Okay, this is my green channel chart. So I'm going to draw my green channel here. Boom, boom. You see that? That's a parallel channel. I'm going to make it green as promised. It contains all the MSTR price action going back to 2021's top. Connect that to 2024 top. It also connects the bottoms. Don't you love when things sync up? All right, and we are above the 50% mark in this channel. And this is what I think essentially is going to take us to new all-time highs. I think an MSTR channel that looks something like this, and I'll make it white, is what's going to take us to new all-time highs for MicroStrategy. Basically, we just ride this channel out and, you know, zigzag up until we get to this overhead resistance. Depending on when we hit it, it might be around like 650. And we'll, you know what? Let me know in the comments if you want me to do another video talking about the upcoming MicroStrategy resistance levels that we need to be looking out for, because you just saw one right there, 650, but there are some lesser known ones that I can pretty much guarantee. We actually talked about it in my private group earlier today. We do a live call on Saturdays. We talked about some of these hidden resistances, and while we're not an options trading group, we talked about the potential to use those resistances as pivots to have a little bit of exposure via options where you can get those outsized returns. By the way, that group is linked in the description. We had a really good call today. You'd be able to check the replay if you ended up joining. Anyways, that's the green chart. The red chart is right here. So first and foremost, I don't even have the red channel drawn on here yet because I like to do it in front of you guys so you see what I'm doing. First, check out the MSTR, just price action. It moves in these parabolic moves and it moves in threes. This is actually going to be more evident on the next chart here. But going back to the 2020 to 2021 run up in MicroStrategy, let me switch this to the daily chart, daily candles. I've shown you this chart before if you're subscribed. Okay, it moves in threes. Do you guys see it? The move is up one, reset, up two, reset, up three. Okay, that was daily candles from 2020 to 2021. Now let me switch this to weekly candles and look at the current structure. We're literally repeating it. You don't need to be a 200 IQ genius to see it, right? Like I drew it out for you. You can see it's the same thing. We're just repeating it on a much larger scale. Up one, reset, up two, reset. And then guess what's coming next, guys? Can anybody guess? Up three. And then I don't know about the reset after that. It might be a very long drop / consolidation after that. I actually have a very, very strong conviction. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I have a very strong conviction on where MSTR is going to essentially be headed on the breakdown, not the break up, but the breakdown. I can guess that a lot more confidently than I can guess where ultimately MSTR tops at the top of this cycle. Okay, ignore the 900 at the top here. That's just on the chart so you can see the top of the parabola. But I think we actually go much higher than that. So speaking of how high MSTR might go, okay, let me draw my red parallel channel on this chart. And what I'm going to do is be more aggressive than I was over here on the green channel. Okay, on the green channel, it was safe. On the red chart, the red channel, I like to be aggressive. So I'm going to connect the bottoms as aggressively as possible and then see how that aligns with the tops. And then it's my red chart, so I'm going to make it red. Okay, you guys see that? Now you can see the three parabolas and look where we currently are, right? So you have, let me get the highlighter out. It's easier to see. Move one, move two, and then ready, move three, right there. Okay, the parabola support is going to run up against the overhead resistance in this red channel right around, and by the way, the parabolas are not an exact science. Like when I use a parallel channel, I'm a lot more confident in the, actual structure than these parabolas. You can adjust the parabolas pretty easily. But let's just say if you buy into what I'm showing you on this chart, this takes us to September 2nd, so after Labor Day, 2025, MSTR $1,058. And don't tell me that's not on the charts. You're seeing it right here. Like, I think it's more contrarian to bet against it. Having seen what I just showed you, okay? Look at the move that I showed you here, 2020 to 2021, how it moves in the exact same pattern and how we're just repeating it now on a much larger scale. Now, TradingView just bugged. Sometimes TradingView, if you have multiple tabs open, does what it just did. It moves what you draw to other charts. But look, we're just going to repeat. That's my plan anyways, for us to repeat this move and finish that third move, that third parabolic move. Okay, you saw it right here. Whoa, that chart got butchered because of, TradingView bugs. Anyways, moving on. This is MSTR log scale. Similar to how I said Bitcoin's log scale chart here, I think has the answers. It correlates really well to MSTR's log scale chart. Also notice the parabola structure on the log scale chart. It is extremely rare to find that. When I say it's extremely rare, I don't know if I know another chart that has a parabolic structure. I mean, probably like NVIDIA or something on the log scale, but it might not. I don't know. I don't remember on the top of my head. Anyways, one of the other reasons why I love this trade so much is because we know MSTR is correlated to Bitcoin. I have my clear-cut lines in the sand definitions of Bitcoin's price action going back to inception here. So I love that. And then I'm able to correlate it to MicroStrategy's price action, not since inception, but at least since, I would say, 2020, okay? Like I said, that 2020 move, we saw it. We did it right here in thirds over here, down on this small scale, and now we're doing it on the big scale in thirds, okay? So no surprises so far. No surprises yet. There's no guarantee it has to finish the move exactly as we expect it to, but so far, so good. And so far, the structure is literally exactly as we expected. If you've been subscribed to me for a few months now, you've heard me talk about what's going to come, and it's played out exact. Have I missed anything? You know what I mean? I even called the rotation into Bitcoin using the Bitcoin to gold ratio back in April. I also called the April bottom. Again, I mean, that's unrelated to, MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, but I also nailed that like 2 days after it happened. So anyways, subscribing's free. Here we go. These white lines define the breakout. That's the whole point of them. You see the declining white lines, you break above it, gone. Declining white line, break above it, gone. Declining white line, break above it, gone. There's only one left, okay? It moves in thirds. This is the last third. We just broke above it. One of the reasons why I was so confident in this trade, guys, and let me just keep it real with you for 2 seconds. Like, whether we were right or wrong, why I loved this setup was if we were wrong, your downside is probably completely contained to a serious gap down for whatever reason overnight. You know what I mean? Your MSTR position is going to open down 3% one day, and you're going to be like, okay, we were wrong. And it'll break out of this parabolic support, and it just will not get above this resistance, and then it's going to just drop, okay? And your losses in that scenario, if you know what you're looking for, if you're not just doing this, right? If you're not just typing it into Google, because what does this tell you? It tells you nothing, right? But we can have minimal downside with insane upside, like uncapped upside, for real, like inside this parabolic structure. Again, it's a range of probabilities that strongly favors one side. And when you're investing, to me, that's what it's all about. Like, after this move is complete, guess what? I'm not just going to be like, oh, we can only ever trade MicroStrategy and you can only ever be long. Like, dude, I'll do whatever I want to do with my money. Bitcoin's another thing. I'll probably have my permanently long Bitcoin exposure, but MSTR, I'll trade in and out of, just being real with you guys. But I think this is a beautiful setup, and we broke out right when we needed to. Look at where that candle started, by the way, right on top of the breakout structure. And I think this next week, this is the only thing. I'll probably do a separate video on this, maybe tomorrow if you guys want me to. But what to expect next, because you can see, if we just go back to the previous breakout, we got the breakout on this candle right here, okay? Look at the next week. Boom, clean back test, okay? I don't know exactly what to expect next, but I'm willing to break down historical price action with you guys if you want me to. Let me know in the comments. But, I mean, this is just such a clean setup. Now, I said I was going to come back to the Bitcoin chart. Let me do this first. This is the total crypto market cap. And maybe I need to just explain this for like 2 seconds, because I posted this on Twitter and the first comment was somebody being like, this has nothing to do with MSTR. And I'm just like, what? So Bitcoin, if you guys weren't aware, it fluctuates with Bitcoin's, with the whole crypto, of course, the whole crypto economy. You can go to CoinMarketCap for that. Bitcoin represents currently 64.5, as of recording this, 64.5 of the total crypto market cap. And MSTR's price is a derivative of Bitcoin's price. So if you don't think this has something to do with Bitcoin and MSTR, now you know, right? I mean, unless you want to disagree with me, which I'm open to the discourse in the comments, but yeah, I was just surprised that somebody commented that. Anyways, look how clean this chart is. Look how clean this breakout is from the previous top that was put in November of 2021. Look at this. You got the overshoot. Oops, breakout. Just kidding. No, it's not. Fake out. The fake out, even, this is how savage it is. It didn't just stop right here on this channel support. It took you down beneath it and then said, just kidding, right back up, back test, gone. Like we have, I mean, if you're watching this video thinking you're too late, you're not. Please stay with me for at least however long between now and the end of this video. Stay with me. This is one view right here to show you you're not too late. Your timing's probably perfectly because we basically have the confirmation now. If we don't have the confirmation, let me know. Also, there's the stablecoin printer. Whereas, let me just show you this real quick. I wasn't planning on showing you, but let me show you. This right here, the stablecoin printer on Twitter, you need to follow it. Look at the prints recently. 77 million, 79 million, 153 million, 100 million, 400 million USDC, 55, 121, 139, 80, 100, 145, 118, 165, 121, 140, 126. Guys, that's what we need to see. Those big prints, last big Bitcoin run up, they were averaging $500 million a day of stablecoin printing. That was the average. And I don't see anybody else doing that math. I did it myself. So feather in my cap. All right. Hit that subscribe button. It's free. Or if you're watching on Twitter, hit that follow button. So also, it's just worth noting too, like it's not all going to be carried on the back of the stablecoin printers because we have things like the ETFs now that can do a lot more of the heavy lifting. I mean, look at IBIT. This thing is insane. Okay, so there's another way I call it the alchemist stone. You transmute your fake, worthless US dollars into the hardest, most sound money known to man in Bitcoin, okay? This is one way people are doing it through the ETFs. Another way is through the stablecoin printers. Ultimately, as long as, well, I don't want to say it's not all the same, but like, you should just self-custody, cold storage your Bitcoin, of course, but most people aren't going to do that. So it is what it is. Like, at least you're pumping my bags by transmuting USD into Bitcoin. So I appreciate that. All right. This is just such a clean setup. All right. I'm going to shut up now. Let's get to the Bitcoin chart. You've heard me say this before if you've been subscribed. If you are new here, let me just show you this really quickly. Why this chart tells me everything I need to know. These white lines represent the levels on the Bitcoin log scale. Okay. This first level, when it broke, it ran 1,600% in 13 weeks. Okay. The next breakout, when it broke, it ran 312% in 3 weeks. The next level, when it broke, it ran 620% in 20 weeks. The next level, which is where we were for almost 5 years, but we just broke through a couple days ago, we ran 270% in 21 weeks. Okay. Also worth noting, I'm going to zoom in real quick and show you guys. If you're still with me, thank you. Look at this. Okay. Right now, if I had to where's the highlighter? I could change the highlighter color to like black and just kind of hide the rest of this price action. So you can't even see it. Okay. Let's pretend that this is exactly where we are right now because we just jumped levels in Bitcoin. So pretend like the yellow part is blanking out those candles. We just broke through. What happens next? Well, I don't have any guarantees for you. I'm a literal talking head on a screen. Don't trust your entire net worth or your life savings to me. All right. I'm just showing you what I see here based on previous price action. But look at this. The next candle was basically just wasting your time. It's up and it's down. Higher low, higher high. Ultimately, nobody made any money on that candle unless you were like selling options or something. The next candle after that, exact same thing. Like we didn't really get anywhere. It was a higher high and a higher low. The next candle is where, in my mind, by the way, I named my community MSTR Generational Wealth. And I told them after this move, I might just close the community because honestly, it's like if I'm not confident in what I think comes next, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. But I'm pretty confident in what comes next right now. Look at this candle. This is the generational wealth candle, if you ask me. And that's not a guarantee. None of this is guaranteed. But I'm ready if it happens. Look at that back test, clean, okay? On that back test right there, if you're trading the Bitcoin adjacent stocks, which I don't think you should be trading, honestly, you should just be not financial advice. I shouldn't say what you should be doing. I'll tell you what I'm doing is just be perma long the underlying. Do not mess this up. Do not mess this up. I just showed you how significant these Bitcoin level breaks are. If you find a way to lose money right now, you're in a special class. Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but like for real, don't mess this up. If you want to set aside some small percentage of your portfolio to leveraged long or derivatives, options, etc., this is right here. If asterisk, see, if you get that opportunity, you would do it right there. Okay. There's no guarantee we get that. But also, if I go back to the MSTR chart, okay, remember that last breakout right here? Well, number one, on that last breakout, look what it did. Up and then right back down. We got a break and a fake. I don't think that's in the cards this time, though, guys, because we're really close to that parabola structure right here, okay? It doesn't mean it can't happen, but I'm just saying. You might still get a clean one candle back test, though, even though that would take us down to like 397. But this is the stuff we discussed at length in my live group call earlier. But anyways, look at this last breakout. Break, back test, right there. This is the generational wealth candle. That clean back test right there. If you got the itch to go long with options, it's not done on this candle. If you do it on that candle, you're fine if you make money. If you, I don't know, but like you know what I mean? You had to sit through this back test the next week. How many people did that and sat on their hands? Probably not many. If you entered on this candle and you bought up here, most people probably sold right here. Let's be real. That's why the market maker algorithms exploit human psychology to generate alpha for the big guys. Okay. That's my theory. Right here is where the disciplined options traders are entering that position if they're given the opportunity to. If you don't get it, it's fine, right? You're still hopefully majority position in the underlying. And guess what came next for you? You didn't get your options position. Guess what you got? Ready? In 7 bars, you got a 243% appreciation of MSTR. Does that not sound good to you? Because it sounds good to me. But if you got that back test, the generational wealth back test, and you went long with leverage or derivatives there, you didn't just get 240%, guys. You got a lot more if you know how those work, okay? And Bitcoin is telling us the story. Whoops. Let me just zoom into how significant this recent price action was right here. I should have just zoomed out. But look, you see how I keep having to drag to the right? That's because we were on this level for basically 5 years, guys. 5 years. We weren't on any other level in Bitcoin's history for 5 years, anywhere close to it, honestly, okay? Look at this breakout. It's as clear as day. We tested this level 7 times before we got, well, it was on the 7th time that we got it. And I mean, when I say we tested 7 times, like even though this wick falls short, I'm still calling that a test right here. I'm calling that a test. This is the first break after 5 years and 7 tests, okay? Look at it. We just need the weekly candle to close above. Basically, it's not an exact science. So I just rounded up and said close above 117. These are weekly bars that you're seeing on my screen right now, by the way. This line, again, it's been active and containing price action for basically 5 years at this point, just under 5. Okay. So I don't have an exact number for you, but I would say, honestly, if you want like the closest I can get, I would say about 116,600. If it closes there or above, I would say it's confirmed on the weekly candles as well. And what comes next, I'm just going to give you, I mean, we could drill into that in future videos if you guys want. Like there's a lot of ways to estimate and guesstimate where we go next, but my favorite way of representing what I think happens next is by cloning this move right here. And you can see the orange line and the red line. Those are inverse parabolas, okay? And I don't treat any parabola like an exact science, but if I zoom out just really quickly so you see why they're relevant, okay? Look at the inverse parabolas. Look at their inception. It's down here when Bitcoin first started, just connecting the first 2 tops, okay? And that's giving me basically 2 price targets for this upcoming Bitcoin move, which again, just started. Like there's people already talking about like Bitcoin dominance is over, alt season, etc. Yo, like trust whoever you want to trust. I don't care. It's all good. You'll probably still make money in alts, but like we're not even close to this move being done in Bitcoin. Like it literally just started, And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong in the future. It's all good. You know what I mean? But you'll know we're wrong anyways. Pay attention to this line. Guys, if we're wrong, if we start going back beneath it and closing beneath it, rethink your positioning. Like this is, again, it's not the hardest thing in the world, and we should have been building our positions down here. Like, I don't know. Anyways, you can basically see where I think we're going to do. I think we're going to go up, float around the red level, which is 160K, not an exact science. These are moving targets. Okay. So when we get there dictates ultimately when we start to consolidate between 160, 165, something like this. Move, bull flag, chop, 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 finish the move. In Q1 of 2026 is my guess. But I do also see people smarter than me, like Max Kaiser on Twitter, saying, no, we're getting to 220. Funny that he found his way to 220 also, by the way. Like me finding my way to 220 was just the inverse parabolas, but he's saying we do it in 2025. So it might look more like this, guys. all I did was just resize those bars, okay? And I just cloned this pattern from previous price action on Bitcoin, but it could just be up. Maybe we overshoot it, okay? So this would say on that first move, maybe we get up to like 180, do like a broadening wedge. If I'm just cloning that previous move, okay? Something like this, boom, boom, boom. And then we're up here at, that doesn't take us to 220 though. Either way, let's just call it 220. And that's December 2025. It would look something like that. Anyways, guys, I've been talking long enough. If you're irresponsibly long MSTR like I am, how much would it be worth to you to have somebody who's in the charts daily looking for the perfect entry for shares and options and eventually looking to see if we might have topped and it's time to take profits? If this is something that interests you, I want to invite you to check out my MSTR generational wealth community linked below.